Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We are back on the dev server and I thought we would have a look at the Stingray. This is a new light tank which is coming in to America and also it's coming in for Japan in the form of the Thailand tech tree. So overall, two versions of exactly the same vehicle. There's no difference between them apart from they're in the different tech trees. The Thai one is right here in the Thai sub-tech tree line for Japan. And then the American one is actually on the left-hand side. It's between the M3 Bradley and the M3A3 Bradley, which is quite nice. One of the cool things about the American version of this vehicle is we've had so many light tanks that have basically been just really annoying for America. What I mean by this is they've all been event vehicles, so they haven't been available to a lot of the people who end up playing the game. You have the XM8, you also have the CCVL, and even the AGS, and by extension, stuff like the LOSAT, which also has some interesting mechanics on a very similar chassis. So basically, this idea of a light tank with a larger gun instead of an autocannon, and also not looking at the Striker, which for me is more like a tank destroyer, it's kind of eluded the Americans for a longest time. And it's actually really nice to see that they finally have a vehicle which fits that role. Now, the Stingray itself is pretty simple. It's very similar to the VFM5 and also the XM8 that we talked about before. It's on a chassis which doesn't have a lot of armor, basically 25mm all around and 15mm on the sides and 25 on the turret and the front. So it's not really stopping anything. You know, the whole point of this vehicle is not to get shots, it's to shoot first and kind of annihilate people from there. And generally, with this type of vehicle, you can actually do that pretty effectively because of the fact that this thing has a good targeting speed and also a two-plane stabilizer when it comes to this 105mm LRF cannon. Now, the cool thing about the X-ray that you can see here is look how well this thing is modeled. You have the FCS, which is right here. You also have all of the different ammo pieces, which are actually modeled in terms of like the armor that's around them. You also have the engine, which is fully modeled back here, the Detroit 8V92TA, and then also the transmission and the radiator. And even look at the breech. They've put so much effort into actually updating this thing and making it just a fantastic piece. It's actually stunning how well they've actually created this. So whoever modeled this from the inside, you should be super proud of yourself. It looks absolutely amazing. Now, as you can see, it's a 4-crew. So you have the driver in the front with his controls. You also have the loader, the commander, and also the gunner. So a pretty standard layout. You also have a really annoying first stage ammo. So this is not fun, in my opinion. Of course, it's nearer to the loader, which is good for the loader. But the fact that you have ammo open basically in the middle of your vehicle means that you're going to pop quite a lot. This has kind of M60 syndrome. And by M60 syndrome, what I mean is the M60 has a horrifically bad ammo rack that you can see right here, which is its first stage ammo. So whenever anybody shoots anything, they always shoot here and you go pop. The Stingray has a similar issue, not as pronounced, but it basically means if you shoot the left-hand side of the vehicle, the crew dies, and if you shoot the right-hand side of the vehicle, the crew explodes. So there's no way that you can actually survive. So shooting first is a necessity. You also have a manual reloader, or a manual loader in general, meaning that you have the standard 105 reload, which means 6.7 at most, and at the same time loading the round, it is the DM33. So this vehicle gets stock HEAT-FS. Obviously, stock HEAT-FS is trash. They should really change this, but oh well. You know, it's been a topic of conversation for a long time. You also have access to a HESH round that nobody will use, and the C76A1, which is a pretty nice rank 1 modification to have to make the grind a little bit easier. And then you actually get the round you're going to use, the DM33 at rank 4. DM33 493 is very good. I still remember when they added it in for stuff like the TAM and then the Leopard, and how good it was on those types of vehicles. And then they started spreading it around to everybody else, and it's still incredibly good. The reason why this thing is at 9.3 is because of the DM33. If they decided to give it the C76, it'd probably be a little bit lower. but c'est la vie. It also has a laser rangefinder, it has some smoke grenades, and since it's a light tank, it gets the airstrike, the scout UAV, and also the improved optics, which definitely will help it out. It doesn't get an LWS, which kind of sucks, and also, as you may have seen, it doesn't get any thermals, which is kind of surprising, since this is a pretty modern vehicle, unless there are upgrades of it which give it access to those types of things. And for me, it would be nice to see those, but who knows? Maybe they'll turn up later, or maybe they just don't exist. So you have all of the standard camos for the modern American stuff. This shouldn't be too surprising for this type of vehicle. The actual story of the Stingray is pretty interesting. It's a private venture vehicle that was designed, and the Americans like, you know what? I think we're good, boss. Like we don't need this vehicle. Kind of like what they've done with a lot of light tank projects over the last 10, 20, 30 years. Here are the camos for the Taiwan. And Thailand was like, hey, you know, this thing would actually suit our conditions. You know, a lightweight vehicle, which still has a bit of firepower and also supplied by the Americans. That sounds absolutely fantastic. So now the good old Thai actually use this vehicle and use it to great effect alongside many of the others that they procured from America and other places. One of the first things that I noticed when I spawned in this thing earlier is the fact that it feels incredibly long, but it also feels incredibly thin, and it also has a massive booty on it. And I don't know whether that's just because of where the camera is situated, because it doesn't look too big from the side, but from the back, it's got a dump truck basically. Then when it comes to the optics, this is literally all you're getting right now, which is pretty horrific, but when you realize that this thing is basically a light tank, it means that you can go kind of gun first and then scout later. So if you're in bad positions, you can always use the binos to be able to scout stuff and help your team, and then you can use the gun itself to just kind of finish off stuff. The DM33 will slice through basically anything that you're going to fight, and it's going to slice it through in a fantastic way, which will be really good. And also with the mobility of this vehicle going forward and backwards, that basically means that you will be able to deal with pretty much anything that you come across. Now America, as I said, they've been lacking a vehicle at this BR which you can kind of carry with and also have a good time with, and I feel like this vehicle is definitely it, alongside stuff like the MBT-70, you know, the M60A3 TTS. You now have something which is mobile, which can move at a great click, and also can reposition with the smokes, and then hammer targets when you need to. For me, I'm very much looking forward to this vehicle. It's one of my favorites when it comes to this update, and I generally feel like it'll be one which I will enjoy for a very long time, because pretty much all of the other light tanks that are like this in other tech trees I have enjoyed and I've had a great time with, so there's no reason why this one would be any different. If you like light tanks and you like good firepower, this is perfect for you, and the fact it's coming in 2 tech trees means no matter where you play in War Thunder, you can find it very efficiently. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.